What if Earth suddenly stopped spinning? Imagine you're standing outside on a peaceful afternoon. The breeze is light, the clouds are drifting lazily across the sky, and everything seems wonderfully normal. And then, in the space of a single second, Earth, your entire spinning home, hits the cosmic brakes. It stops rotating. Completely. Instantly. One moment you're casually scrolling your phone, the next you're flying eastward at over 1,000 miles per hour, along with every building, tree, ocean, mountain, car, dog, sandwich, and extremely confused stickman on the planet. That speed, about 1,670 kilometers per hour near the equator, is how fast you're actually moving right now thanks to Earth's rotation. You don't feel it because everything around you is moving with you. But if the rotation suddenly stopped, the ground beneath your feet would no longer be speeding along with you. You'd become a human projectile. So would everything else. The entire planet would experience a global scale version of a car crash where everyone forgot to wear a seatbelt. Skyscrapers would crumble as their tops continued moving, while their bases stayed behind. Oceans, still rushing eastward from their previous momentum, would surge over continents in enormous mega tsunamis, hundreds of meters tall. For a brief moment, every coastline on Earth would be hit by a wall of water racing faster than a passenger jet. If you ever wanted beachfront property, congratulations. You now have it for the next 3 or 4 minutes until the next wave arrives. Once the initial chaos settles, which is a polite way of saying once everything that could fly has already flown, Earth enters its new, strange, non spinning reality. A day on Earth would now be an entire year long. One side of the planet would bake under constant sunlight for 6 months straight, slowly turning into a desert hot enough to cook eggs on stones, sidewalks, the roofs of cars, and possibly the cars themselves. The other side would freeze in eternal night, colder than the most ruthless polar winters. Between these two extremes, a narrow ring of twilight, permanent sunrise or permanent sunset, would be the only potentially livable zone. Stickmen would migrate there in droves, possibly arguing about which side of the ring has better real estate, the slightly less hot side or the slightly less frostbitten one. The weather would get completely unhinged. Without rotation, Earth loses the Coriolis effect, the invisible force that normally twists winds into spiraling storms. Hurricanes, tornadoes, trade winds, gone. Instead, air would rush directly from the scorching day side to the freezing night side in enormous planet spanning convection currents. Picture winds so strong they can push houses, cars, and maybe even stubborn stickmen who refuse to move. The atmosphere itself would begin slowly rearranging, settling into a permanent circulation pattern that would make ordinary weather forecasts look like fairy tales. Long term oceans would migrate too. Water would pile up toward the poles because without rotation, Earth no longer bulges at the equator. Coastlines would redraw themselves. Entire regions would flood while others dried into new deserts. Humanity would need to rebuild on a planet with completely different geography, climate, and day night cycles. Agriculture, transportation, and energy systems would need to be reinvented almost from scratch, and society would need to get used to a world where let's meet tomorrow morning means see you in about 5 months. But here's the small piece of good news: physics doesn't like sudden changes. The forces required to stop Earth instantly are so enormous that nothing we know of, no impact, no alien technology, no forgotten switch labeled planet break, could realistically do it. So while it's fun to imagine stickmen flying at Mach 1 across the landscape, you can relax. Earth is going to keep spinning for a long, long time. Still, if it ever did stop, you'd better hope you're already standing in that thin twilight band. It's the only place where the sunset never ends, and where the world, while still completely chaotic, might be just calm enough for the stickmen to build a few new houses, assuming they can stop sliding around in the wind.